What's up, everyone? I'm Don Ferguson, and welcome back to another Emmy-nominated episode of Something New here in the Teeqlife Basement Bar. I know somebody's at home right now, and they're saying, "That shit, that's not Emmy-nominated, what the?" Okay, I get it. Yeah, I'm not Emmy-nominated yet, but the platform is growing, and we're getting a lot more viewers, and people are actually reaching out to me to get recommendations of spirits from all over the world for their parties, bar mitzvahs, christenings, baby baptisms, all that. Yes, it's very true. People are reaching out because I am an intoxicologist. Before we go any further and talk about and taste something that might be completely divine, look at those special effects. Be sure to check out our digital media partner, Tequila and Spirits Magazine, where you can get a magazine subscription right to your email box. I know you're on the gram, so go over to Instagram, #FindTheBird, check out our other digital media partner. I'm doing my hands like Birdman, so what are we trying today? Well, I know what you're thinking. He's probably trying some tequila. No, I'm not. See, shame on you for assuming. You know what they say about assuming. Whatever. We're trying something that's extremely popular. But the brand is popular, but this is more like a folklore. It's like a white rhino. Not the gag gift. Is that the gag gift? Anyway, Pure White Hennessy. It's hard to find. A lot of people talk about it. There's only a couple places in the world that you can truly get it. So, before we crack this open, let's roll the intro, and then we'll talk. Boom! If you're new to the Teeqlife platform, before we taste, we talk. Hennessy. It's a big brand. We're going to get into how big they actually are, but we're here to talk about Hennessy Pure White. This is produced and bottled in Cognac, France. If you don't know about cognac and the difference between brandy, cognac actually has to be produced and bottled in Cognac, France. Brandy can be produced and bottled anywhere. That's the difference. So this is like the snooty, snobby, older brother of brandy. Does that make sense? Do you get it? Can we move along now? Hennessy Pure White is made from the finest white grapes from the Cognac region of France. Kind of makes sense, right? It's 80 proof and it's aged for several years in old casks. It is twice distilled, but here's where it gets kind of funky and a lot of fun. They don't know exactly how old or how aged the juice is. Now, I did say it's aged for several years in old casks, but the juice is from Eau de Vie. Whew, I pulled that off. And that is basically the juice that's in here. If you want to get technical about it, it's brandy. Same thing as cognac, and that's just what they call it, Eau de Vie. Sounds very regal if you ask me. But that's the juice in here, and that juice is aged anywhere between 2 and 50 years. So some in here, there could be like a micro, it's probably like just this much that they pour in a big cap, but it's 50 years old, people. We're drinking some shit older than me. Barely. Yes, the true age of this is unknown. But if you want to compare it to something, it's in between a VS and a VSOP. Does that make sense? Does that help you out a little bit more? To a lot of people, this brand or clear cognac might be a little bit new, even though it's not clear. Clear cognac dates back to the 19th century, and from the distillers within the Hennessy factory, distillery, whatever you want to call it, they say that this is actually extremely difficult to produce. Maybe that's why it's so hard to find. Who founded Hennessy? Well, Richard Hennessy did, back in 1765. And who was Richard Hennessy? He was Irish, people. Bet you didn't see that coming. Yes, he was an Irish military officer and a businessman, and he came up with the brand Hennessy. Those Irish people are pretty kick-ass, man. How big is the Hennessy brand? Well, they sell about 50 million bottles a year. That is 40% of the world's consumption of cognac. That is absolutely incredible. If I could just get a couple of dollars, please, maybe one or two, I'd be okay. In 1971, there was a merger, and they merged with Moet. So now it's Moet Hennessy. You know, the champagne, the really expensive one that's all in the rap videos where they're pouring it on women. They merged in 71 with a big brand. And then in 1987, they did that again. And they merged with another big brand, Louis Vuitton, with the $400,000 purses that are knocked off and you can buy them for like $30 on the streets of New York. Yes, that Louis. Here's the crazy part. Now, I don't know how many people have this in their own Teeqlife basement bar like me, but this is extremely hard to find. You can technically find it only in a few places. First is the Hennessy headquarters in France, and the other one is the Caribbean. I don't know why, maybe it's duty free, but that's why you hear when people go on a cruise or something like that, oh, pick me up a couple bottles of that white Hennessy, dog. Yeah, it happens all the time, and people will come back with as much as they can and potentially sell it on the aftermarket. Now, there isn't really an option to sell it. They didn't choose to actually release this in the United States, so it's really hard to find. If you do find it in a store, buy it. It could be an aftermarket price where I've seen it up to $250, $300 a bottle. Super crazy. But that's what's going on with this brand. That's why it's really, really, really hard to find. But we're gonna move that camera over here. We're gonna crack it open, let it breathe. We're gonna taste. I got my glass. Well, okay. There is no magic here. During the movement of the camera, I didn't get drunk, so I got a lot of explaining to do because you know on the Teeqlife platform, I never open up something before we start filming. And here's the deal. Yes, there's about half gone. So I know a bunch of degenerates, and I love UFC fighting. I had a party a while ago, you know, before COVID, stuff like that. And before I could say what you can touch and what you can't, they came down to the Teeqlife basement bar, started drinking. And by the time it hit me, oh shit, this is where we were. So I was a little irritated, but you know, it is what it is. So that's why we're not opening this one. Yes, I have 2 bottles. Come on, people. I'm an intoxicologist. I'm a professional. Of course I have stuff. I have stuff hidden back here that hasn't even been made yet. So that's the story. We're just going to get it open. We're going to use a cognac snifter because it's cognac, people. What did you think I was going to use? A champagne flute? We're going to pour it in here. We're going to let it breathe. Obviously, some friends of mine, they let it breathe before. We ain't gonna name no names, but those degenerates know who they are. Bottle. Wow, it's really, ooh, man, it's filling up the air. Can you guys smell that at home? That's how potent it is. So the bottle, typical bottle, you know, nice, very different from the other Hennessy bottle, but they have a bunch of different bottles in their portfolio. You know, they have hopefully one day I can just go through them all. Hennessy, if you're watching, hook a brother up, okay? Back to the bottle. Very simple, very clean. It does have grapes up here that are embossed into the bottle, but nothing over the top crazy whatsoever. Color. Look at that. Man, there's a lot of aromas already rising. So it's like a light, yeah, it's like a light copper, like a honey yellow gold. Very nice, actually. Now, I can see the legs. They're just kind of cascading down very slow, very elegantly. So not bad so far. Now this is very, very highly regarded in the cognac industry, in the cognac world. You know, doing my research, it has gotten a lot of really good reviews. The other one I can't really discuss. Let's just nose it. sweet, very sweet. Almost that fruity, that dried fruit. You're getting a little tiny bit of oak. Definite grapes. I mean, absolute grapes. There is a little ethanol, a little bit of alcohol that's rising up. You know, it's nothing significant, but it is there. It also has like a flowery, like flowers, botanicals, kind of like you're just perusing through a France garden and the flowers are around you and there's grapes with a vineyard and you're just trying to get drunk. Yeah, very nice. Just not overpowering. Not as sweet as I thought it was going to be either. Okay, we're doing our swirls. Let's go in for a taste. Round one. Wow, that's sweet. Definitely sweet. Has a little bit of a long, you know, I would say a mid-range to long finish. And what I mean by that is you get some spice, you get some pepper. This is only the first one. It's meant to coat your palate so that way you can open up and really develop all of those flavors. See, this is why I'm Emmy nominated, because I explain it like this. So let's go in for round two. And there's a reason why I'm not holding it like most people would. A cognac. Took a healthy one. Woo! Took a healthy one. That's really sweet. You're definitely getting those white grapes. It's almost like a honey nectar sweetness. It's actually pretty smooth. Like I'm getting a little bit of pepper, a little bit of heat, a little bit of spice, but it's really not overpowering whatsoever. It is very, very nice. Wow. And the sweetness doesn't taste artificial. It's almost like a raisin sweetness, a white grape sweetness. So if you ever like took a bunch of grapes and it's just the sweetest and you're like, wow, that's the best fruit I've ever. This is what you're tasting right now. But we got to go in for three. Wow. That's actually really good. It really is. I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Nice sweetness to it. Kind of I would say a medium finish. Bordering on long because I do feel a little bit of that spice there, but I do think that it's smooth. I'm getting some like flower, fruity flavors as well. A tiny bit of oak, but it's almost like it reminds me of a liqueur, like a fruity liqueur where you're getting that honey sweetness. Maybe even with tequila you can have it as agave sweetness, but man, it's like a bouquet of nice subtle flowers, nectar. Like this is actually really good. I'm really surprised. So 4, baby, 4. That's a nice sipper. Now with cognac, a lot of the times people will hold a cognac like this, and the heat that resonates from your hand will keep or warm up the cognac and it opens it up. This one, from what I was reading, it's kind of meant to be chilled. So you can throw an ice cube in it, smooth it down a little bit. I would probably use some whiskey rocks or something like that so it doesn't dilute it. I really don't like the water in the mix, but if you just want to tone it down a little bit, a couple of droplets of water, some whiskey rocks, and you're good to go. Here's the deal. Hennessy Pure White Cognac. I gotta say it. Boom! It's Teeqlife Approved. But we need to compare it to the original Hennessy. The one that's all in the rap videos. There's 20 million songs about it. Hen Dog, Henny. What are some other nicknames for it? I don't know. The Brown Devil? I don't know. We're going to compare. So now that I've had a good 4 sips of this, we're going to move this over to the side. We're going to grab a tasting glass, and this is probably the proper tasting glass for this bottle of Henny. You know most people drink Henny out of this cup. You see this cup on TV, you know there's Henny in it, right? Look, we got the pop. Screw cap. Who's winning? We got a pop here. Look at, we got glugs going on. I'm not going to do a big pour. I'm just not. Darker? Absolutely. So when you look at it and you say Henny white, but it's not white, Well, there you go. There's the difference. You're seeing this is much lighter than this one. Do a little swirl around in this elegant tasting flute. Little nose. Delicious. Absolutely. Ooh, that aftertaste. You know, I haven't really had Hennessy in a while, and that aftertaste is something that I do remember quite a bit too much. And yeah, but you know, when in Rome, let's do it again. We got to give it a proper tasting here. Sweet. It's like sweet dirt. Little pepper. Actually a lot of pepper, so there's heat to it. My mouth is warming up. Very different. Feels heavier. Just feels a little bit more oily in my mouth. This feels very clean. Very nice. So next time my friends come over, we got something for you. They better not touch that. All right, we're getting down to the down, so that wraps up another episode of something new here in the Teeqlife Basement Bar, where I'm sure this is going to get a Golden Globe. I got my Tequila and Spirits magazine hat on, so that means we're done until we have another episode. Wonder what I'll be tasting. What will we be trying? I don't know, but I'm gonna finish this. You know, this is already open. Might as well. We'll see you on the next episode. Life is too short to drink bad liquor. Choose wisely, my friends. With a solo cup.